But we have to understand what all of this is. Anti-Zionism has nothing to do with anti-Semitism.
Anti-Zionism truly at its core is anti-Semitism.
There's a good $200 million a year that is being invested in fighting Jew hatred.
We are proud Orthodox Jews, and as a proud Jew, I'm saying, from the river to the sea, Palestine should be free, free of occupation, free of genocide.
How can you say that? You're not a Jew! You're not a Jew! How dare you! You're not a Jew! To say that!
They caused bloodshed! They caused rivers of bloodshed!
How can you say that? You're Jewish! How can you shame your own people?
Who is a Jew?
We're Jews! This is our people!
Still, the Zionist establishment of the State of Israel, it's deplorable, it's despicable, and it is even anti-Semitic. It causes hate of Jewish people, it causes a rift between us and people of Palestine and Muslims around the world. Jews and Muslims lived together in Palestine for hundreds of years. What happened?
Having powerful organizations listing us in a list of the 10 top anti-Zionist organizations, and we consider this an achievement.
My belief is that the Anti-Defamation League actually increases anti-Semitism more than it decreases it.
One of the world's most popular information websites has declared the Anti-Defamation League as an unreliable source.
To begin with, Judaism and Zionism is not the same. Judaism is a religion only. The Jewish people are the people following the religion, believing in God, and practicing God's commandments. Now, Zionism is something totally different. It's not only different, it's the total contrast. It's basically what Zionism is doing. It's transforming Judaism from a religion, redefining it into a nationalism, which is the total contrast.
Because we are facing now an ongoing genocide in Gaza, which is taking place in front of the whole world, and the whole world is silent. This is unbelievable. It's the first time a genocide on camera, and everybody is silent. We as Jewish people, we are standing up. We are saying, no, this is not in our name. And it's a nakba for us also, because the Zionists are using our religion, our identity, to justify all these crimes, which is totally wrong. This is not what Judaism stands for.
Anti-Zionism is genocide. And what I mean is, if you so dehumanize Zionists, by the way, every Jewish person is a Zionist.
So you say Zionism is a part of Judaism?
Let me tell you the truth. This question made me very upset. The people who say that Zionism is just like Judaism are just totally wrong. You see, I was a personal disciple of the Satmar Rabbi. Nobody in my community, and also anyone with basic knowledge of Judaism, would agree with Zionist definition of Judaism. They just use and abuse our name. We, Torah Jews, want peace for all innocent, suffering people, including all the Arab nations, including the Catholics, including the Gentiles all over the world.
Even today, the pro-Palestinian solidarity movement, we had a massive rally today in front of the White House. Wasn't even mentioned once anything bad about Jews or the Jewish religion. It was against the crimes, against the Zionist movement, which should be condemned, because if we witness crimes taking place, we should condemn it. We should do everything to stop it, regardless who the perpetrators of the crimes are. In our case of Palestine, that the perpetrators of the crimes are some people from Jewish descent, this is just embarrassing to us as Jewish people. But in no way is its criticism anti-Semitic in any way. We have to be very clear. While we are criticizing Israel, while we are criticizing the Zionist movement, while we are criticizing the crimes being committed to Palestine, one should be careful with the language they are using.
When we're talking about anti-Zionism, though, ADL, we truly believe anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. And you are denying the right of Israel to exist. And so when you start seeing things like Zionism is racism, Zionism is white supremacy, Zionism is homophobia, sexism, and that's a lot of what we are seeing play out on college campuses, you are saying that Israel should not exist. Anti-Zionism truly at its core is anti-Semitism.
We lived in a beautiful peace with the Palestinian people for hundreds of years till the Zionists came in with their new philosophy, a rebellion against God, and killing, stealing for so many years, 76 years, unfortunately now.
Right.
When we see students around the globe standing up for what is right, we as Jewish people, we admire these students. Our grandparents, when they have been killed by the Nazis in the Holocaust, they would appreciate to have such students standing up. Right. So standing up for what is right is in no way anti-Semitic. This is not anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism means what the Zionist people are doing to our religion, to our identity, and to the Palestinian people, which are also Semites.
شبكت عيني واصرخنا لنشوفك وين ما في حدا جاوب علي مسكوني وانتوا بسألوا اللي مجرم عليها 100 مين بيقدر هذا العام معي صوتي يا بشرية يلي من استظهاري انت بيشوف الحرية انت بيشوف الحرية.
But that's what you see today in Gaza. You never see that. The last 80 years you didn't see pictures like that. These pictures is only what's happened in Poland and in Germany for 80 years ago.
Listen, I am an American Jew. I have lived there over 70 years. How I am supposed to feel when a foreign country, Israel, uses and abuses my name. Israelis' actions are not Jewish actions. Please, do us a favor and don't fall to their propaganda.
Look, it's clear that the hardened anti-Zionists are from the far left are the photo inverse of the white supremacists from the far right. And I mean, there is no argument anymore that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. I mean, that is as plain as day.
One of the world's most popular information websites has declared the Anti-Defamation League as an unreliable source. The editors at Wikipedia now say that the top Jewish civil rights group and one of the world's preeminent authorities on anti-Jewish hate is not a reliable source for information about the Israel-Palestine conflict and anti-Semitism.
The ADL no longer appears to adhere to a serious, mainstream, and intellectually cogent definition of anti-Semitism, but has instead given in to the shameless politicization of the very subject that it was originally esteemed for being reliable on. The JTA goes on to list other reasons cited by editors for this ban. Quote, a series of controversial statements by ADL CEO Jonathan Greenblatt, whose claimed student protesters were Iranian proxies, compared the keffiyeh headscarf to the swastika, praised Elon Musk after he promoted a supposedly anti-Semitic post on his social media platform X, and compared anti-Zionism to white supremacy.
And the Wikipedia editors reportedly have complained that taking the criticism of Israel on its face as anti-Semitic has caused problems. That's why they find it unreliable. So if the main thing they put out is statistics on anti-Semitism, and their definition of anti-Semitism is including what many people don't believe is anti-Semitic, and that many Jewish people criticize the state of Israel, that does make their main output now unusable.
Let me tell you, having powerful organizations listing us in a list of the 10 top anti-Zionist organizations, and we consider this an achievement. We have achieved a part of the goal. It seems that people on the other side considers us effective. Otherwise, they would never care to mention our name altogether. This is encouraging. We don't need them to prove our success, because our success, we see it in the Arab world. We see people realize that suddenly people understand that Judaism is a beautiful religion, other than what the Zionist movement is presenting. Suddenly people realize that the Jewish people are a kind and nice and friendly, peaceful people, other than what the State of Israel presents. Now, our achievement, we don't need the Anti-Defamation League to prove it for us. But again, it's encouraging.
The Zionists are claiming that the Palestinian people hate us Jews.
That's not true, man. Palestinians do not hate Yehudis or Jews. They hate Sahayonis, Sahayan, Zionists, Sahayan. We don't like Sahayan. We love Yehudis. Those are my cousins, you know.
Do the Palestinian people hate Jews?
No.
No, never.
No, not at all, not at all. And the same as we
Wala marra.
We love each other equally. Exactly.
Yeah, we lived
We're like all brothers.
We lived in a beautiful peace for hundreds of years. Till Zionism came in. The problem is Zionism. We have differences of religion. This is not the reason of conflict.
Israel's the state. Israel's the terrorist project. It's a terrorist project. Basically, it was like it's ideology. Right. You know, Yehudis and Muslims lived there in that land for 1,400 years.
Look on these beautiful kids. When the Zionists see this, that the Palestinians have no problem with Jews, they got frustrated, because the lie is that the Palestinians hate every Jew. They will kill you. Usually when we go to protest, they will kill you first.
These guys right here,
they have no problem with Jewish people, and we Jewish people love to live in peace with the Palestinian people. Right. This is what Judaism stands for. Judaism is not killing, stealing. All the stuff the Zionists claiming to do in our religion, this is totally wrong.
Jews and Muslims lived in peace before this invention of Zionism. We can live in peace. The Palestinians have nothing against the Jewish people. This is not anti-Semitism at all. These are peaceful people. These are friendly people who live together with Jews, who respect the Jews. It is the occupation of Palestine which is destroying us all.
That they rather go to jail, they rather even die than fighting Palestinians, they say, because this is not the war that they have signed up for, and this is not the state that they accept. They do not accept Israel as a state, the institutions that come with it, the bills and the rules that come with it. So what's expected to happen is obviously more protests, but if you go to Jerusalem, go outside, you will see protests nearly every day against the government. Ultra-Orthodox Jews protesting the government because of the possible conscription bill is one thing. People are taking to the street all together in a significant majority right now to make sure that this war comes to an end, that there's some truce, but also that the hostages are being released.
Picket signs here say they'd rather die than abandon their traditions. But the men here who call themselves Haredi or from a people don't even see themselves as Israeli.
Nobody here is going to go to the army. They want to go to jail, and they're not going to go to the army.
The protest began with prayers, but soon the younger men marched toward the nearby military recruitment office. A somewhat mismatched standoff ensues. The Ultra-Orthodox are not pacifists.
Things are heating up here at the protest in front of the IDF recruiting headquarters. Things were peaceful at the beginning, but especially the young people have come out to show their anger that they might have to be drafted and might have to join the IDF to fight in Gaza.
It was the first recruitment day for Israel's ultra-Orthodox, who were given draft orders from the IDF. But while hundreds showed up, it wasn't to enlist. What was supposed to be a demonstration against enlistment turned into violent riots outside of the military conscription office. The refusal to serve was unwavering.
We don't mind losing our lives. We don't mind getting beaten up or ending up in hospital or prison. The only thing we refuse is to give up the Jewish soul.
While 450 young men were summoned yesterday, only 8% of the recruits showed up.
The most popular activity in the Jewish world now is to fight anti-Semitism. And the way you fight it is to raise a lot of money by putting the fear into donors, by having media companies that put fear and alarmism in the headlines, because that triples our clicks. And it is by far the most popular activity. There's a good $200 million a year that is being invested in fighting Jew hatred, right? There are organizations, they email me every day. There's at least 20 organizations, and all they want to do, and they have whether they're called End Jew Hatred, Combat Anti-Semitism Movement. There's a new one that starts every week. So what do you make of this obsession with fear and alarmism and this thing that has made American Jews look like pathetic whiners? We've lost our sense of humor. Everything that made Jews attractive in the past 100 years, we've now come to this point where we are now becoming known as those who kvetch and only care about themselves.
That's right. That's correct. That's exactly correct. So, first of all, my belief is that the Anti-Defamation League actually increases anti-Semitism more than it decreases it. Number two.
In what way?
In what way? Because it's just another left-wing organization that alienates half of this country by the positions that they take.
How can you say that you're Jewish? How can you shame your own people?
Stop us too. We're all Jews here, all right?
Yes, so how are they saying that?
Because we don't want Jewish. We don't want genocide. I don't want that. Because I'm Jewish. And the Talmud says not our country like that.
That is our country. How can you say that about your own people?
Because I'm Jewish. Because I'm Jewish, I'm standing. This is not what Judaism stands for. This is not what Judaism stands for.
Shame, shame, Israel! Shame, shame, Israel!
I'm protecting her.
The movement of Zionism is using propaganda tools in order to manipulate the minds of the masses, especially using tools where people are ignorant and people don't know any better. And they need to trust them in the way they present their arguments. And what happens then is people lose their mind and they just follow blindly this propaganda. But it took time till people started to realize how much crimes is involved, how much terrorism was involved, and how much killing, stealing, oppressing of an entire people. This is going, all these crimes are not only a violation of international law, these are true violations of Judaism. Not to kill, not to steal is the basics from the Ten Commandments. Now, all what we are seeing in this movement of Zionism is in total contrast of Judaism. You have masses of Jewish people worldwide, including in occupied Palestine, including in today's what they call the State of Israel, who are not only in total disagreement with the State of Israel, but publicly oppose them.
100,000 Jews protested Israel's High Court recent decision to draft Orthodox Jews into their occupation army. Anti-Zionist Jews refused to serve in the Israeli army and carry out their atrocities. According to Judaism, Jews are forbidden to occupy another's lands, have their own sovereign state, or wage wars against any nation. Protest banners read, "Israel's army is a brainwashing cult. The Zionist army is not to serve the citizens, it serves Zionism." On the poles, banners were displayed reading, "We will not enlist in the enemy army." Banners on a building in the center of the protest read, "The Jewish nation is against the Zionist bloodshed that is committed in the name of the Jewish nation." Other banners read, "I am a Jew, therefore I will not enlist in the Zionist army." And
we will not sacrifice our children on the altar of Zionism. Zionists use Jews as human kills. During the protest, Zionist police ruthlessly attacked protesters. How these people manage while living in Israel and opposing the government is very challenging, because intimidation, harassment, torture is unbelievable. Those people standing up in Israel against the government, against the movement of Zionism, against the mere existence of the state of Israel and all crimes it commits, these people face tremendous harassment.
Let's move now to one of the most controversial issues within Israeli society, the draft deferment that's given to young men from the ultra-Orthodox or Haredi sector. The IDF began sending out draft notices to Haredi men, but only 48 out of the first 1,000 showed up to the enlistment office, although hundreds did come out to protest.
People always ask us what reaction we get. Well, obviously we get negative reaction from some Jewish people, and some would be very upset by what we do. That's fine. We try to educate the people. We try to have them understand what all of this is all about. We try to have them understand that what is taking place, the state of Israel is the greatest rebellion against Almighty God. And as Jewish people, we should never tolerate it. We try to help them understand what's being done to Palestine.
Where to run, where's safe.
Unacceptable. There's no way.
Gunshots
no
ring
excuse.
out.
And we try to
Children
explain how dangerous
terror.
this is for the Jewish people. Because unfortunately, all what's being done in the name of all Jews is, at the end of the day, in addition to all crimes, all this catastrophe inflicted to the Palestinian people, this is also dangerous for the Jewish people. Some people listen. We can say recently, even more than before. Maybe some would have closed minds and they would never be willing to open their minds and to change. And what's so puzzling is many of those people might be smart people, intelligent people. It comes to Israel, everything is closed. Closed backs. Nobody to speak to. But the younger generation has a different approach. The younger generation wants to see something better than we saw till now.
Israel is not a Jewish state. You can't just take an ancient religious collective and transform it into a nationality because it is convenient for the Zionists. Yes, Jews live in Israel and we pray for their safety, but that doesn't make Israel the country for the Jews of all nationalities. Combining Judaism and Zionism is the key in creating anti-Semitism.
But again, we have negative reaction, but in the same time, we have massive support from many communities. And we always say, when you see X amount of people coming out on the street, as you define this as exhausted, it might be, as challenging it might be, and still people come out. You can imagine how many more people are behind us who don't have the courage to come out, but they support us in each and every way. I always say, never ask a question why more people don't come out, because everybody understands how difficult and challenging it is. You can always ask a question, how come that those people are brave and have the courage to come out? That's something to be admired. Let me tell you the story. It was years ago, a friend of mine comes over to me, and he was in the executive department of a huge business in New York City. I'm not going to mention a name. And he comes over to me and he tells me, I'll do everything I can to support you, but there's no way I can come out in person. If I join you in person, they take a picture of me, I close down my business the same day. This is unfortunately intimidation. And sometimes one should ask a question. Why this massive intimidation? Why these threats? Why would people approach peaceful demonstrators and take pictures of them and threatening them? Why would it be a canary mission Why would be all these kind of propaganda? What do you care if people say something? You know, people may have a disagreement. You can think otherwise, and other people think this way. It seems that people are scared of the truth, especially in the last months. People are waking up. People are starting to realize that something's wrong. We need a better future. We need a change. And people are waking up.
An American Hasidic Jew. My heart is shattered over the loss of so much innocent life in this ongoing war. It pains me to the very core how all of this is carried out in the name of Jewish people. Whoever I know feels the same. We want peace. We have no nationalistic aspirations in the Holy Land, but only want everyone to live in peace. Jews live in the Holy Land for centuries before Zionism in harmony with their Muslim neighbors. May God uplift the broken, heal the injured, free the hostages, and finally bring upon peace to his world.